Despite a breakdown in talks, Zimbabwe's main opposition leader says he's determined to reach a power-sharing deal with President Robert Mugabe. Demonstrators in Iceland demand the resignation of the governor of its central bank. Iran conducts a new phase of Army and Air Force military drills near the Turkish border. And the Chinese government relaxes rules on foreign reporters, easing restrictions on freedom of access for journalists. Hi, and welcome to Worldwide Watch. Zimbabwe opposition leader Morgan Tsvangirai says he is still determined to reach a power-sharing deal with President Robert Mugabe, despite the breakdown of talks between the two leaders. At a rally, Tsvangirai said his objective is to bring Mugabe and his government to the negotiating table. 4 days of negotiations ended Friday without an agreement on the allocation of cabinet posts in a unity government. Collapse is a setback that is likely to worsen the country's economic and humanitarian woes. The opposition accuses Mugabe of trying to hold on to too many key posts. Clashes continue in the West Bank between Israeli settlers and local Palestinian harvesters during the olive harvest. Journalists and peace activists were among those attacked and hurt by the settlers. Meng Chi has more.
On Saturday, 2 journalists and a British woman helping Palestinians pick their olives were attacked in Hebron in the West Bank by angry Israeli settlers. The attackers claimed the harvest was being done on their land. Clashes were filmed between Israeli settlers and activists who had been harvesting the olives, as well as journalists.
We were walking down the hill to join our friends when we heard something behind us, and I looked back and there were a group of settlers attacking the cameraman. So we ran up towards them. One of the settlers had his camera, and I went to the settler to try and get the camera from him, and he punched me.
Israeli police said Israeli security had declared the area a closed military zone, effectively stopping the harvest. No settlers had been arrested because no formal complaint had been lodged. The clashes in Hebron were the latest of a series of efforts by Israeli settlers living in occupied Palestinian land to disrupt an annual harvest critical to many Palestinians' livelihoods. Clashes were also filmed last week between Israeli soldiers, Palestinians, and peace activists who were picking olives. In recent years, there has been growing friction between local farmers and Israeli settlers during the olive harvest. Palestinians complain that they frequently come under attack from militant settlers. The Israeli army says it has put together a plan to keep the peace during the harvest. Meng Chi, CCTV.
More than 2,000 people gathered outside Iceland's parliament on Saturday, demanding the head of the central bank resign. They also called for a new monetary policy for that country. The central bank governor, David Oddsson, has also faced calls to resign from at least one prominent Icelandic politician. The island of 300,000 people is the most serious state victim of the global credit crunch. The government has been forced to take control of 3 of the country's top banks, seek financial assistance from Russia, and abandon attempts to defend its currency as the economy are the brink of collapse. Thousands of followers of nationalist Shiite cleric Muqtada al-Sadr have staged a protest in Baghdad against a draft U.S.-Iraqi security agreement. The pact will decide the terms of U.S. troop presence in the future. Meng Chi has more.
Protesters in Baghdad's Sadr city don't want a pact that would keep American forces in Iraq for 3 more years. On Saturday, marchers waved the Iraqi flags and chanted anti-American slogans, but the atmosphere appeared mostly peaceful.
All the Iraqis, including Sunnis and Shiites, Arabs and Kurds, have taken to the streets today to express their rejection of the occupation and the security pact. And we demand from all those who also denounce the pact to organize a similar demonstration.
Security forces were checking on streets and snipers on rooftops. The U.S. and Iraq are facing a year-end deadline to reach agreement on a deal that will extend the presence of U.S. forces. Officials say the status of forces agreement includes a timeline for U.S. withdrawal by 2012. It also includes a crucial but unpopular compromise, giving Iraq limited ability to try U.S. contractors and soldiers for off-duty and off-base crimes. U.S. Defense Secretary Robert Gates has spoken to key congressional leaders about the draft pact. He says the leaders have generally positive reactions, but are looking forward to seeing the text. 107 CCTV.
A suicide car bomber has attacked an Italian military convoy in the western Afghan city of Herat. Saturday's attack took place at about 8 a.m. local time. A spokesman for NATO-led forces says 5 soldiers were hurt and one of their military vehicles was damaged. The bomber was killed in the blast. A reported Taliban spokesman claimed responsibility for the attack, saying it had killed 8 soldiers. Taliban militants have launched dozens of suicide bomb attacks this year, about half of them aimed at international troop convoys. An Iranian television station has been airing footage of what it calls the second phase of Iranian Army Air Force military exercises. The maneuvers are near the northwestern city of Tabriz, close to the Turkish border. During Saturday's drill, jet fighters, including American F-4s, F-5s, and F-14s, and Russian-made Sukhoi planes, attacked and hit predetermined targets. The exercise also included the new domestically manufactured jet fighter called the Sega, or Lightning. The exercise is aimed at boosting Iran's defense capabilities, improving the morale of the army, and displaying the strength of the country's air force. The semi-autonomous northern Somali region of Puntland says its soldiers freed a Panama-flagged cargo ship from pirates this week. The government of Puntland said Panama-flagged vessel and its 11 crew members, 9 Syrians and 2 Somalis, were freed on Tuesday after a gun battle in which 1 soldier was killed and 3 hurt. No hostages or pirates were hurt. The 10 pirates who had held the ship since Thursday surrendered when they ran out of ammunition. Puntland's foreign minister says his government's coast guard can fight pirates in the region, which is a hotbed of maritime hijackings, and that the government should not pay ransoms. Now here's a look at some other news making headlines around the world.
At least 6,500 pre-Hispanic golden and ceramic pieces in storage for decades go on display next month in Bogota. Colombia's famous gold museum is set to reopen after 10 years of refurbishment. The pieces date back more than 2,000 years. The museum's director says visitors will view artifacts from societies that lived between 500 BC and the 16th century in the territory that today is Colombia. A secret network of tunnels in London went on the market on Saturday. The underground facility, designed to house up to 8,000 people in case the city ever came under attack. The Kingsway tunnels were built in 1940, 100 feet below the busy streets of central London's Holborn district. The nearly mile-long network was used by Britain's Secret Service and by the Public Records Office to store secret documents. Britain will cut the number of immigrants to guard against racial tensions amid rising unemployment. Immigration Minister Phil Willis says a tougher immigration policy is needed to ensure enough jobs for British citizens in the economic downturn. The United Kingdom adopted a points-based system in February to ensure that only necessary skilled foreigners were admitted. Willis also says immigration will not be allowed to push the country's population above 70 million.
Belgian police have questioned 19 people on suspicion of being involved in a smuggling ring that funneled illegal immigrants into Britain. Brussels prosecutors say 200 Indian illegal immigrants were found during a series of early morning raids on Saturday around Brussels. It included 50 Indian nationals hiding inside a Sikh temple in the suburb of Vilvoorde. Police say the ring was preparing to smuggle them into Britain. A collar containing satellite-guided positioning equipment has been slipped around the neck of Russian Prime Minister Vladimir Putin's dog. Putin watched his dog try out the device outside his residence, saying she wagged her tail and appeared to like it. Known as the GLONASS, the Russian system allows scientists to study wild animal behavior and migration patterns. Deputy Prime Minister Sergei Ivanov says the system will have 21 satellites eventually. It will be available worldwide by the end of 2009, for which it will need to have 24 satellites. Good way to find your lost dog, too. Coming up on Worldwide Watch. China grants foreign journalists more freedom of access in reporting on stories across the country. And China and France promise to improve cooperation and promote balanced trade development during trade talks.
Flying higher with dreams. Sharing growth with you. CTV Golden Bridge International Communications Company Limited.
Chengdu, the hometown of giant panda.
Let us develop and enjoy together with feelings of appreciation. The charming city, harmonious Hangzhou, and colorful Westlake Expo. The 10th Westlake International Expo, Hangzhou, China. Let us develop and enjoy together with feelings of appreciation. The charming city, harmonious Hangzhou, and colorful Westlake Expo. The 10th Westlake International Expo, Hangzhou, China.
An intimate rendezvous with nature, Futushan, China.
Thousand Island Lake, the ideal place to relax. Hangzhou.
Chengdu, the hometown of giant panda.
Tangshan, an ecological city, a reborn phoenix.
Flying higher with dreams. Sharing growth with you. CTV Golden Bridge International Communications Company Limited.
The Chinese government has issued more rules on reporting by foreign correspondents in China. The new regulations mean reporters will no longer have to do interviews with applying to foreign affairs departments. Gui Xiaozheng has those details.
Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Liu Dianchao explained that the new rules follow the major principles and spirit of the media regulations introduced for the Beijing Olympics. The new regulations are significantly different from those issued 2 decades ago.
For example, unlike in the 1990s, foreign reporters wishing to interview organizations or individuals in China no longer need to be received and accompanied by relevant Chinese organizations. They don't have to get approval from local foreign affairs departments when they want to report in the regions open to them.
The introduction of the new rules simultaneously abolishes the management regulation on foreign media organizations and journalists issued in 1990, as well as does away with the temporary reporting rules issued this year for the Beijing Olympics.
China welcomes foreign journalists to do reporting in our country. We will continue to offer convenience and services to your work in the future. At the same time, we also hope that foreign media workers abide by China's laws and regulations, report on China in an objective and justifiable manner, and make positive contributions to enhancing friendship and understanding with people all over the world.
The new rules went into effect from October 17th. Meanwhile, China's foreign ministry will continue to supervise the management of foreign media and reporters in the country. Gui Xiaozheng, CCTV.
Chinese and French officials have wrapped up another session of the Sino-French Economic and Trade Mixed Commission. Wang Leiqi has more on what sort of deals they reached.
Both China and France praised the development of economic cooperation and trade between the two countries in recent years. Two-way trade is expected to top $40 billion by the end of this year, double the volume of trade just 3 years ago. The two sides have agreed to relax restrictions on Chinese exports, promote balanced trade development, cooperate on solving trade disputes, and extend bilateral trading.
France-China economic and trade cooperation is steady. The two countries should coordinate to cope with financial turmoil and the U.S. financial crisis, and study how to make adjustments to improve our relationship.
As to the financial crisis situation, we hold the same views as China, to treat the crisis seriously, to bear responsibility, and to multilaterally exchange views.
China and France have also agreed to continue cooperation on major projects in nuclear energy, aviation, space science, and transportation. Meng Ningqi, CCTV.
Earthquake reconstruction efforts have been stepped up in Sichuan, Yunnan, and Shanxi. As Zhang Shanshan tells us, the race is on to make sure victims are in new houses before winter arrives.
This is farmer Li Guihua's new home. 5 months after the massive Wenchuan earthquake changed life here forever, Li and her husband are finally living in makeshift tents to move into a new house. Following local customs, they have placed a fire basin at the door, hoping it could bring them good fortune.
The new house is 148 square meters. The government paid half of the money, and we were able to afford the rest.
With more than 130 families losing their home in this village alone, the local government has organized the rebuilding projects and paved new roads for residents. Half of the displaced villagers have already moved into new homes.
We promise that over 90% of affected residents in Mianyang will be able to move into new houses before winter comes.
In other quick-hit areas, local governments coordinated with banks, construction workers, and material suppliers to accelerate rebuilding efforts. Many have also provided subsidies and relief materials to ensure that residents can get through winter safely. Huge quantities of clothing and quilts have also been sent to the quake zone by donors around the country. Volunteers have also offered their help. In Anhui Province, 4 brothers who won recognition for clearing roads into quake zones with earth movers have transported quilts worth 60,000 yuan to donation centers.
We just want to ensure that people in the quake zone can have a warm winter.
A quilt factory in Hebei Province has increased the production to meet the need for warmth in the quake zone, and the people around the country have helped to sort and wash donated materials, with some making new quilts and clothes for quake victims.
I have enough food and clothes, but I can't forget the old people living in the quake zone, so I made a new quilt for them to make it through winter.
Even the poorest have offered a helping hand.
For many years, I have relied on help and support from government and society. I donated a self-made quilt to contribute my own efforts.
The first batch of winter supplies is expected to be distributed in quake zones by the end of October. Yang Shenshan, CCTV.
An investigation is underway into another mine explosion in northwestern China. Initial results are expected to be available in a couple of days. The accident happened on Thursday in a section of the Dafeng mine in Ningxia Autonomous Region. Workers there were using 2 tons of dynamite to blast away some rock. The death toll currently stands at 16, with 48 others hurt. Police have been questioning 2 people from Guangdong Hongda Blasting Corporation who were in charge of the blasting operation. Authorities say the priorities for rescue efforts continue to be clearing the site, checking if there is any remaining dynamite, and expanding the search area.
The Capitol Museum is one of the newest and most eye-catching landmarks on Chang'an Avenue. This cutting-edge building showcases the history of Beijing from its very beginning to the present day. New Frontiers takes you to the museum that is an exhibit in its own right. Only on CCTV International.
A new section of a massive south-north water diversion project has just been finished. Currently, the project only supplies water from Hebei province, but eventually the water will come all the way from Hubei in central China. Wang Mengmeng reports.
Water from here flows 307 kilometers to the capital. It's part of national efforts to ease Beijing's water shortage. The entire diversion project consists of 3 routes, and this is the first phase of the mid route.
We started working on the project about 5 years ago. It's a 20 billion yuan investment. Now all the quality and technical standards have been met. There's a collection of all kinds of irrigation architecture along the route.
The only purpose of this bridge is to allow the water to flow through to the direction of Beijing. As you can see, it stretches about 3 kilometers and is divided into 3 lanes. As the water flows through, it brings pressure to both sides of the banks. So as you can see, the vertical concrete beams are built to reinforce the banks and reduce water pressure. And now the spot where I am standing used to be mountains, and it took about 2 years to drill through and let the water flow to the direction of Beijing. And this is one of Asia's largest water tunnels.
Hebei's role is only temporary. The final goal is to divert water from Danjiangkou in Hubei province. The entire route will be 1,400 kilometers.
The completion of the first phase is just a start, but it's a great start. It's a test of our technical and coordination performances, so we can apply our experience to the remaining tasks. The made routes will very much help ease Beijing's water shortage and optimize water resources in the north.
This is where the water diverted from Hebei province enters Beijing, and water flows to a nearby reservoir waiting to be purified. By next March, a total of 300 million cubic meters of water will enter Beijing, ready for household use.
This is the only open canal of the mid-route in Beijing. The rest is all underground. Wang Mengmeng and Zhu Yang, CCTV.
Well, the Chinese government maintains it is committed to cutting pollution to achieve both a sustainable environment and economy. Zhang Lu reports from the National Environment and Development Forum in Beijing.
The theme of this year's forum is air quality. The Minister for Environmental Protection, Zhou Shengxian, said the latest figures show the country's emissions of the main pollutants has continued to decrease this year. He said China's air quality improvement during the Beijing Olympics, is a good example for developing countries.
The successful experience has given us guidance from 4 aspects in improving air quality in the post-Olympics period. Firstly, tackling pollution issues needs great resolution. Secondly, strengthening cooperation among cities and neighboring provinces is effective. Thirdly, pollution control should go along with comprehensive environment management. And lastly, efficiency of the solution should be ensured.
Since late September, Beijing has implemented more than 20 new measures to continue improving air quality. Minister Zhou said reducing emissions and saving energy will be a top priority for the coming period, and international collaboration should be enhanced. Zhang Lu, CCTV.
Beijing's International Airport has been honored by the Airports Council International for quality service and special contributions during the Olympics and Paralympics. The airport received over 5.5 million visits this past August for the Summer Games. It also launched the Terminal 3 earlier this year. That is the world's largest individual terminal. The next plan is to build the airport into a major Asian hub over the next 3 to 5 years, upgrading service quality and improving the efficiency of passenger transfers. The airport is also trying to convince the Chinese government to extend the length of transit visas beyond the current 24-hour limit. A rapid transit system linking the airport's 3 terminals is set to open in 2009. 80 airlines now service the airport with flights from 187 cities around the world. Time now for a look at the weather for China and North America. Here's Hala.
Thanks and good morning. Well, we'll start off with China, where we should see that rain up in the northeast dying down today, although some showers will persist in parts of Heilongjiang. The majority of that wet weather will be found from central Tibet all the way across to Shanxi and Sichuan, although again it should be fairly light in intensity. Although a new cold front is set to hit northern Xinjiang today with light rain or snow appearing there. By tomorrow, the effects of that cold front will be felt further afield, with falling temperatures set to strike Xinjiang, western Inner Mongolia and western Gansu, with sharp drops of over 10 degrees expected up in northern Xinjiang, along with that light rain and snow. We should also see an increase in wet weather across in Shanxi, Henan, western Hubei and Chongqing, with that front set to affect the rest of China by Tuesday and Wednesday. Let's take a quick look now at North America, where we're expecting the rain in Vancouver and southwestern British Columbia to ease off today, although up in the northwest that rain will strengthen, accompanied by some fairly strong winds. Most of the rain in Canada, though, should focus across in central and western Ontario and northern Quebec. Down in the south, the rain in the southeastern US should dry off. However, despite the clearer skies there, temperatures will fall by 4 to 6 degrees. For the rest of the US, we can expect another fine dry day. That should change by tomorrow, though, with the rain starting to appear up around the Great Lakes and parts of the northwestern US. And that's all I've got time for. But for a closer look at the weather wherever you are, here's your World City forecast.
That is our time for this edition of Worldwide Watch. I'm James Aiken in Beijing. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.